You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start, same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB de CV. Copyright 2024. Proximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I'm working myself through all the emotions, and I'm going to walk back my emotional rebuke of Brandon Ingram. Let's try to have a rational, level conversation about Brandon Ingram, if that is indeed the pivot. Brandon Ingram's career, to me, I understand where he can help the Miami Heat. They need scoring in the half court. He gets buckets. To me, his resume and his general approach does not scream fit for the Miami Heat, but the aforementioned Lamar Odom did not scream fit for the Miami Heat when he came in here, and maybe there are parallels, very similar games too.
Well, I mean, I'll be perfectly frank with you. So Lamar Odom played in an era where they had the 3-strike rule. If you test positive for marijuana once, they don't say anything. They just quietly put you in a program. The second time, you're suspended for a number of games, and it is publicly announced. The third time, you're done for life. You're kicked out.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Lamar Odom got his first 2 strikes his rookie year in L.A. And mind you, this is like they tell you, yo, testers are like there's every opportunity to not mess it up. So he actually played the rest of his career with 2 strikes and managed to manage around it.
Good for him, by the way.
Yeah.
That's very difficult. Obviously, if you get 2 strikes quick, you're fouling off a lot of pitches there.
Choking up.
Yeah, he actually stopped smoking marijuana. That was what
Shorten the
happened
swing.
Is that what happened?
No.
But I say that to say that any kind of aspersions towards, like, hey, Brandon Ingram kind of has a look in his eye or whatever.
No.
Like
Brandon Ingram also, like, I don't know if he's cleaned it up recently, I guess because I haven't seen it on social media. He also had, like, takes one to no one, a huge anger problem. That dude was down to scrap often. Like, he was a very emotional player, which surprises you because his general demeanor outside of that stuff is pretty chill.
Yeah. You say that, Mike. You know what I hear? He's fiery. He doesn't let anyone push him around.
Yeah. So is Brandon Ingram an actual pivot that would make sense for Miami, even as a placeholder? Maybe get Brandon Ingram in your camp and a lot like Lamar Odom, use him as a chip for another deal down the line. Are you team rock with what you have, or are you team let's kick the tires on Brandon Ingram?
Man, my belief is always you got players, you figure out what you can do with said players, and then keep yourself in a space where I can pivot off of that.
He can score, no doubt.
He can score. He can defend.
He's very long.
He's long. He's versatile, right? He can make some plays as well. I think he's a guy that he may not be Mr. Right, but
he's Mr. Right now.
He could be a hell of a Mr. Right now, right? A hell of a Mr. Right now. And so I
would like their chances better with my whole initial response to Brandon Ingram is like, I will concede, yes, that is a talent upgrade. No doubt. He's an all-star. He does all the things that Amin just mentioned. It's just it's way too soon to talk me into Brandon Ingram, given where the expectations and the hopes have been over the last few years with superstar chasing.
The problem is, like, the alternative is a name that Jeremy said and that Chris just whispered in my ear. Now all you guys are in on this is Zach LaVine. Now, Zach LaVine.
I'd rather Brandon Ingram than Zach LaVine.
Right. Like, Zach LaVine isn't the defender that Brandon Ingram is. Zach LaVine isn't as big as Brandon Ingram is. Zach LaVine doesn't have as good of a track record as far as being an elite player in this league as Brandon Ingram does.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine and his coach haven't seen eye to eye. And if you thought Billy Donovan was a little too much, like, wait till you get a taste of what's down here.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine is under contract for 2 years and a player option at 43, 46, and $49 million.
They're probably going to have to staple something to Zach LaVine.
That has been the reporting, and that's what's had me sort of trying to convince myself into that one, talk myself into it, is you'd be acquiring a player who for 5 straight years averaged 24 or more points per game, shooting 45% or higher from the field, who can play a little bit of defense, and if you're if you're trying to convince yourself of, hey, you need some type of upgrade, if you're attaching a pick and making a move for a player like Zach LaVine, it can be an upgrade from a talent perspective. But the further question is, Brandon Ingram, who is a more talented, longer player who could contribute to you right now and is an expiring contract. So someone who you could acquire and then puts you in a position to have some salary cap relief. The question is, what does a package for him look like? Because the reporting thus far on what the Sacramento Kings, who were reportedly the front runner for Brandon Ingram, what their package would center around would be Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes. And that's not exactly overwhelming. So what could the Heat move for Brandon Ingram and potentially keep a couple of their younger players? I don't know the answer to that, and those are the things that we'll see play out now over the next days,
For the
weeks, and the rest of
podcast,
the summer.
for the podcast listeners, Mike looks like he just smelled a fart.
How about new plan? Let's just suck for a little bit.
Cooper Flag next year.
It's going to be impossible.
I mean, they're not
going to
be bad.
Development of Jaime Jaquez Jr. That's the part. Like, putting him next to Jaime, I feel like will help him so much, bro. Like, because Jaime had to do so much in the playoffs for the team, in which he was doing. He was scoring, he was rebounding. I think that he would just help the further the development of Jaime.
Plus, keep an eye on Cole Swider. Led the G League in threes last
Working
year.
hard. You've seen him often working hard.
He's going to have a big summer league. I'm telling you that right now. Keep an eye on him. Swider Webb, stand up.
Yo, you know what's funny is that I know Billy's doing a tongue-in-cheek thing, but it's like,
I'm not.
Billy?
It's catching on, Swider Webb.
But like, he might be right. Because, like, how many times have we seen this?
Yep.
The guy that was on the roster that was like, yeah, what's he going to do?
Oh,
and then
God.
the next year, it's like, oh, shit, this guy's in the rotation, and he's actually pretty good.
What grief step is Swider Webb's?
Hey, man.
We're in the stages of grief right
Just
now.
be
We started
ready,
with
'cause
Brandon Ingram, Zach LaVine, and
Guys,
now we're at Cole Swider.
You're 2 years away from convincing yourselves to give Cole Swider a max.
Oh, no,
Like,
no.
just so you're aware.
I was there with your 7.
Yo, someone put the tag on it. What's today? July 2nd, right in the big Suey, right? Swider Webb. Max deal. Billy called it.
I look around. I see the lay of the land in the Eastern Conference.
Lay of the land for me.
It's I'm an NBA champion in Boston. I
Okay.
got one over. We beat you in the first round. You have all these hopes on Jimmy Butler. You're hoping he stays healthy.
Boston's great.
He's not going to stay healthy.
Boston's great. What else? Move on. Next one.
If I'm a Philadelphia 76er, I'm super excited. I got Paul George. I made that happen in the face of a lot of people telling me that can't happen. I have Maxey locked in.
No one said that can't happen. The only reporting was that they didn't want it to happen, by the way. They wanted it to happen, then they didn't want it to happen, and then, oh, well, I guess we'll settle for Paul George. That's kind of how it worked.
First of all, they had maximum cap space,
Okay.
number one.
Well,
Number
well,
two-
they made it happen, and
number
they got
two,
better. Did they not get better?
Our guy Jake Fisher told us yesterday this was the plan going back as far as when they traded Harden there to begin with.
Well, they
So-
needed another guy, and they got their other guy in Paul
so-
George.
But now, having said that,
Questions remain about him, but
yeah,
they got their guy.
Remain about him, remain about Joel Embiid as well, and also remain about the rest of the roster because this is so far what they've done. They said, I'm getting Eric Gordon's old ass. and
Daryl Morey.
Andre Drummond,
that's Morey
who's best known for trying to steal Torrey Craig's self alley-oop, right? And then bringing back Kelly Oubre, who
Which
played,
is a big one.
he
That's
played
the
well.
big
He
one.
played well for him.
Yeah,
he played
right.
well for him. But everyone keeps saying, "What do you think the Sixers land in the East?" I'm like, I got to see the rest of their roster because right now it's like, all right, you got 3 really good players. One of them gets hurt all the time.
All right, you're doing a good job of poking holes in it, but I think most people would say Sixers and their fan base feeling better today than they did a week ago.
Sure.
Right.
But like I'm just saying, it's like don't fast track them.
Okay,
to like,
but they've gotten better.
okay.
And we're taking inventory of the East right now.
Okay.
New York Knicks.
iHeartRadio, man. You miss your iHeartRadio app.
That is, they're gonna miss Hartenstein, but they got Bridges. They were really excited about that.
Have you seen Mitchell Robinson? Guy looks like he added a little weight, man, and not in the good kind.
He'll get into shape, but they're feeling better. I don't know. They're feeling better.
They're feeling better because they're doing the dice thing. Like, here we go, Villanova.
Yeah.
I said,
even inside your own division, Orlando's feeling better.
Orlando should feel better. Yeah, Orlando is better.
So those are the teams that you're really competing against.
Yes.
Right? Milwaukee, treading water. Same thing?
I think Milwaukee's going to be better.
Okay.
I think full camp and
But they haven't done anything to the roster, have they, to get better?
No, they added DeLon Wright. I don't know how big of a sting that was for you.
Wasn't.
Okay.
Wasn't. So you have the same teams that you have to worry about. Let's just say Milwaukee is treading water. We're welcoming Orlando into that conversation, formerly division champs, and we're saying Boston and Philadelphia and New York, they all got better. Miami's move is bringing back Kevin Love.
Indiana's move is bringing back everybody.
Yeah, and I think that you're feeling good if you're a Pacer fan too, because you're on an upward trajectory, and you got these younger guys.
So were the Hawks.
The Hawks move was to give away pennies on the dollar for DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Hawks. I guess we could. While we welcome the Orlando Magic to the conversation, we formally close the door on the.
It's funny we haven't mentioned the Milwaukee Bucks.
We did.
We just did.
Yeah, we have.
Steve Martin also on me. Was trying to do some research.
We did. He mentioned DeLon Wright.
Yeah.
On me.
Yeah.
Big move.
That's where you were going.
Yeah. So this is why I'm disheartened.
Disheartened radio?
No heart radio. This is not good. This is really bad. We all concede this is really bad.
So we just said that the Heat are basically like a 6 seed right now.
No, I think they're a playing team again.
Playing?
Nah.
Okay, I'm gonna read you the teams from the bottom. Tell me.
Playing the last 2 years. Is that an insult?
Mike, I'm gonna read you the teams from the bottom.
I'm asking genuinely. Is it an insult to say that a team has been a play in the last 2 years?
A 6 seed is just one spot out of being. We're doing semantics.
No, I
here.
understand. And that's where the argument is if Jimmy Butler stays healthy, you change your seeding. I don't actually think that matters because of runs like the Miami Heat 2 years ago and the fact that, okay, you're the 2 seed. Congratulations. You're playing the Philadelphia 76ers. You're
Stugotz here from my friends over at Simply Safe. Imagine a burglary at your home. If you're picturing a shady character sneaking about under the cloak of night, you may be surprised to learn that according to the FBI, most break-ins happen during broad daylight and spike during the summer months as more homes sit unattended and the days grow longer. That's why you need Simply Safe Home Security now. Simply Safe is the only security company I trust my own home and family's protection, offering me peace of mind whether I'm home or away. I have had Simply Safe in my home for many, many years now. I love the fact that I have such peace of mind when I am away because I have access to my entire house. With Fast Protect monitoring and Live Guard protection, Simply Safe agents can act within 5 seconds of receiving your alarm and can even see and speak to intruders to stop them in their tracks. Protect your home this summer with 20% off any new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Forget what the calendar says. Football season is right around the corner. And that means Best Ball Week at DraftKings isn't far behind. DraftKings Best Ball Millionaire Contest is the biggest fantasy contest ever at DraftKings. 15 million guaranteed prize pool, with not one but 2 millionaires being crowned for first and second place. DraftKings is offering everyone a draft one, get one free special. Your $20 entry fee scores you a bonus ticket. Enter for a shot to be one of 2 millionaires crowned by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app and use code DAN. That's code DAN for all customers who enter the NFL Best Ball $15 million contest to get a bonus ticket. Only during Best Ball Week, only on DraftKings.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 18 and over in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. One per customer. Enter the Best Ball $15 million contest by 9/5/24 to get one bonus entry. $20 entry fee required. Reward expires at contest lock on 9/5/24. See terms at DraftKings.com/DFS.
Don Le Batard.
Oh, I think Larry Fitzgerald's on the green right there.
Stugotz.
That's Alfonso Ribeiro. How do you think that Larry Fitzgerald
and the son.
Oh, the son.
To be fair.
All right, whatever.
Alfonso Ribeiro has a great ass.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Mike, We know. Okay, we said Detroit, Washington, Charlotte, Toronto, Brooklyn. Thanks for showing up. Adios, right? Right. Atlanta and Chicago.
I just see it like that. That's a tier that Miami's operating.
Atlanta and Chicago.
That's scary.
Absolutely not.
Mike, everyone looks at the Heat above those teams.
Everyone
even
naturally.
if you're putting them in the same boat talent-wise, you're putting the Heat above
I'm putting them at the top of that second tier. I'm putting the Magic at best. You can maybe group the Magic in Miami's tier. If you want to expand the tier and not say Orlando is just there yet. Oh, Cleveland. Forgot about Cleveland.
Cleveland's going to be better.
They're better. Dude, this is a playing team.
But why
right
are they
now.
better? Why are they better, Mike?
Because they brought their guys back and they got a new coach.
They're better because they're running it back. Like, I will say.
But they're running back a better team.
A team that was better by 2 games.
And they got a
team
new
that was
coach.
healthier all year long.
Kenny Atkinson, I don't know why it took what? I'm sorry, why did it take Kenny Atkinson so long?
It didn't. Charlotte offered him the job and he took it, and then he realized that they were going to do the Charlotte way, and he said, never mind.
Yeah, because he had a nice start to his coaching career over in Brooklyn. Uh-huh. I think that's an upgrade.
No, it is. I think he's going to help them. They'll be better. Yeah.
So all these teams are doing something to improve their team.
But I would also say that, again, these are all marginal improvements. These aren't like massive. Look, Paul George has the potential to be a massive improvement.
Guys, 4 games separated 8 seed and 2 seed last year.
I'm aware.
I'm just saying.
You're banking on a healthy Jimmy though. Like Jimmy, the most
Jimmy's
he's ever
gonna
played
get
for
worse.
the Heat is
hold on.
64
Thank
games.
you, Billy.
That's
He doesn't.
That's a decision. Like, there's a difference between load management and being injured.
Yeah.
And I think that is what you heard from Pat Riley
how do they
in
bridge the
his
gap, Jeremy?
postseason press conference.
But how do they bridge the gap? If you're
Jimmy
conceding,
Butler reportedly playing for a contract, his last contract. If you don't think that contract years mean something to the NBA and to every other league, look at every star player in their contract year and the way that they play. Jimmy Butler showed you in moments last year, he had his most efficient season. He didn't play a ton of games. He didn't take over quite as many games as you anticipated, but he still had the ability to make that impact. And if he and the rest of this group are healthy, it's not to say that they shouldn't be trying to make moves to improve the roster. But I think that their line of thinking is the continued development of the young players and a little bit of health changes by 5 or 6 games, no different than KCP might do it for Orlando or anybody else.
You say he didn't play a ton of games. He only played 4 games fewer than the season before. He just doesn't play that much.
And in that year, they were also an 8 seed, right? If he played more games, which is what Pat Riley has been arguing with Jimmy's agent and Jimmy for the last couple of seasons, which is why it boiled over in his post-year press conference. And the main guy he was calling out was not Tyler Hero, was not Bam Adebayo, was not anybody else on the team. It was Jimmy Butler, because he views it that his star should be out there, particularly when he saw Boston have all their guys play all year long, and the Knicks overachieve because those guys played so many minutes.
That's just not what he does, though. Like, he hasn't played more than 70 games except twice in his season. The last time was in 2016. He just doesn't play that many games.
It's a risky plan, putting all your eggs in. Jimmy's just going to be better at his age with all those minutes and with the recent
I don't disagree on that.
What's the number of games that Jimmy has to play to be a successful season?
71.
70, maybe?
He's only played 70 games twice in his career.
He's in a contract year. I don't know what.
So he's going to play. He's going to play 80 games.
These are all variables. I'm not discounting
It's
what
just
he's
a
saying,
variable.
but these are not tangible things. Whereas all the other teams have tangible things that you can stack against: change in personnel, change in staff, and markers along the way that at least signify improvement. We're just hoping on maybe Jimmy decides that he wants to play a little bit harder and better.
Also, congrats, you don't have 40 games of Kyle Lowry on your roster this year.
Why is Jeremy wearing sunglasses?
Oh, my eye doctor told me that I need to stop staring into light so often because my vision's getting significantly worse.
Your eye doctor said that.
Yeah, my eye doctor told me. So she asked, like, "Hey, can you wear
Has she heard of the
sunglasses if
sun?
there's light
Mine
all
too.
the time?" Look, these lights are terrible. This is a reasonable thing. It's happening. I'm sorry.
It's cool, but
I know
you
I
weren't
look like
wearing
a jerk.
glasses until the news of Donovan Mitchell extending broke.
You were fine.
Yeah.
Yesterday, today.
I've been whatever.
I kind of feel like John Hammond in Jurassic Park in that I brought all these allies here to cheer me up, and the only one on my side is a blood-sucking lawyer, because Billy and I, like, totally aligned here. Like, I don't...
Wait, what? Am I a lawyer?
You're the bloodsucking lawyer in this scenario.
You're a bloodsucker.
Everyone, is he good or bad?
Everyone else is supposed to be excited about Jurassic Park.
Billy, he's the guy that gets eaten.
He dies
on the toilet.
Yeah, he gets eaten.
He's the one
on a toilet.
He's the one wearing the suit, and he's in the car with the kids.
Suit with shorts.
He's in the toilet hiding from the T-Rex, but he's taking a dump while he's doing it because his pants are down.
I would have held it at that point.
Or his pants down, or are they just flesh-colored shorts? Can we look at that up? Because his outfit was he was wearing like a suit but with shorts. So let's look that up.
Imagine the shit chat. Imagine the shit chat. Like, hey,
can you believe this? Can you believe this situation I have found myself in? I'm in the middle of Costa Rica. I am presently hiding.
Like a screenshot of like the
I am presently hiding in a porta potty next to the T-Rex paddock.
Oh man!
I think I'm safe.
No, that's not a porta potty. That's an actual toilet.
Shorts on, flesh-colored shorts. There you go.
Flesh-colored,
I recently saw Jurassic Park.
Wow.
That's why. Also, in this scene, it makes no sense because the car. Remember when the T-Rex pushes the car over? It falls off of this cliff. That T-Rex just stepped right over the thing. That was ground level. Where did this cliff come from?
Yeah.
Spielberg, what are you doing?
The T-Rex's ability to get the shack off of him without like getting him off the toilet, it was just very impressive.
Yeah, and if you slow it down frame by frame, you see Jeff Goldblum, Dr. Malcolm, like flying through the air.
You know where he messed up, by the way, the lawyer? If you're gonna hide
shitting then?
Well, no.
Why he abandoned the kids?
If you're gonna hide in a toilet, you've got to lift your feet up. So that the
T-Rex doesn't see you?
Yeah, but like, is he in there? Like, no, I don't see any feet on the ground.
This is why I don't
see the
trust
T-Rex looking down.
prefab construction, too.
Speaking of construction, I don't think we talked about this on the show. It happened over the weekend. Bronny James to the Lakers. Like, what's the over or under? You feel me? Slow report. What's the over or under of him actually getting burned this year? Like, do you guys think that he's going to get minutes, 2-3 minutes here or there, or is it going to be blowout central?
Bronaldinho is on the Lakers?
Yeah.
Ronaldo?
Breaking news.
Pity minutes.
Penance.
Yeah.
I also think Dalton Connect, that pick, bro, I can't believe he fell to the Lakers. That's a pick that I think will prove to them and be effective instantly because he's an older guy. And I feel like in the tournament, it was him going against Zach Edey. Welcome to Memphis, by the way. We can get to that. I love that.
You do?
You do?
I love that for
That's
Memphis.
really confusing.
Hashim the Beat Part 2?
Yeah.
And the beat goes on.
One quick shout out to the flesh-colored short suit-wearing lawyer in Jurassic Park. He said something that is basically a fundamental life principle to those kids.
What's that?
Is it heavy? Then it's expensive. Put it down. Like, if you have kids, I'm recycling that line time in and time again. But you like the Zach Edey thing?
I do now because it's not boring. I think that this will prove because Ja Morant is coming back this year with something to prove because he saw the rise of Ant-Man and he's the face of the league, quote unquote.
Yeah, he missed an opportunity. It felt like he was right there. We were all ready to crown him.
No, it was his. That was him.
I feel like what better system for Zach Edey to go into?
I would argue what
the
worse.
Grindhouse.
I would argue what worse. Here's why. When I think of Ja Morant and I think of the Memphis Grizzlies, I think fast-paced. We're running up and down the floor. I would venture to say that Ja Morant can run up the floor and back down the floor to at least the three-point line, maybe free throw line, before Zach Edey makes it down the floor once.
I thought you were going to say, I would have had him. He's going to at least do that and then be halfway up the court, maybe beating Zach Edey before he gets
I had 2.5.
Yeah.
Like 2 full and then 1.5 court.
2, and then
honestly, like it's not outside the realm of possibility that if we have a race and you tell Ja Morant, you got to make it up and down, and you just tell Zach Edey, you got to make it up.
Yep.
I think I would love to see the line on that.
I think we're doing Edey a big disservice. I know that
he's a professional athlete, but
right, because I think that in practice, this is where all this is going to get ironed out. He's going to have to go to practice every day with these folks and Bane and all those tough Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark, my bad. I think that they're going to whip him into shape. No pun intended. Like I think he's going to be better than he was at Purdue in this.
Can you teach him like? Can you teach him? Granted, he's going to maybe lose some weight to get faster. I guess that's one practical way. But like his feet don't come off the ground. I don't know how you teach this.
But also, aren't you taking away what makes him special? Is that like
it's just a weird fit?
If I slim him down, that's like now I'm taking away like here he is running. We got him running at the combine.
Come on, he runs like the guy from Happy Gilmore,
dude. If we Jaws from I feel if we do the Rich Eisen in dress shoes running the 40 next to him, Rich Eisen's pulling away.
He ain't gonna have to do all of that though. He's gonna be sitting next to Ja Morant, high flying. He's gonna have shooters around him.
But I think he is gonna have to do that because he is sitting next to Ja Morant and having high flyers around. Are they gonna play? Are they gonna have like a 4-on-5 and Zach Edey's just gonna be hanging back? Like, you guys got this,
Bruh, he was a top pick in the NBA draft. I feel like the Memphis Grizzlies organization have a plan for Zach Edey, and I can't wait to see it.
I'm gonna tell you. I know it's not the same front office, Juju, but a decade and a half ago, they took Hasheem Thabit, and we were like, "What the f*** are you doing?" Like we was in the war room in Phoenix, and I swear to God, the conversation we had before the draft was, if Hasheem Thabit falls to our second round pick, do we take him just on principle, right? Because we just looked at, and this is 15 years ago, right? We were like, the way the NBA is going, there's no place for a guy like that if you aren't like this incredibly skilled dude, right? And so imagine our surprise when we saw him go number 2 overall, right? Over James Harden, over Steph Curry, over Ricky Rubio, right? But I say all that to say, Zach Edey, one of the things I look at, I'm reminded of watching him play, what was the kid? Jahlil Okafor at Duke. And it's the same thing. It's like, you're big, you survive on being bigger than people. How skilled are you? Can you step out a little bit? Can you shoot? Are you a good passer? And it was like, no, I'm just big around the basket. And I'm like, okay, but that's not good enough. Are you a dominant defensive player?
Zach Edey's got more to work with than Thabit does offensively.
Thabit, yes, but I'm saying Jahlil Okafor was a great college offensive player. But it's like, in the NBA, the things that you're good at aren't as important.
I definitely understand what you mean.
Doesn't it go against the build that they kind of already have with Ja Morant, where they need spacing, they need him to get to the floor to get to the basket, and then all of a sudden you've got an 8-foot guy standing in front of the basket?
There's like a scenario in which Zach Edey can be a pro, I think. That was just like, if you asked me what's the strangest landing spot for Zach Edey, the one that makes the least sense, I would have said Memphis. So I don't know if it's going to work. I looked up to, by the way, the Carton Show is on one of our TVs, and I looked up hoping that I'd see some soccer coverage. This is a Euro partner there. And I did see soccer coverage. It wasn't Greg Berhalter, because I would love to know what Plaxico Burress thinks about all of this. But the lower third said, yes, Ronaldo's the best player in the world, but missing a PK and crying is a bad look. Miss me with like the first 4 words of that lower third. What are we doing?
Yo,
what are we doing? Ronaldo's the best player in the world. Like right now,
I did get a lot of joy out of him missing that penalty.
It was like it was a great save by Oblak.
Oh, by the way, speaking of great saves, Slovenia, 3 in a row. 3? I've never seen that in my life.
It's a real. They had a defenseman taking the second one. I've never seen a team play for PKs and then not have anyone that's able to make one. Like, if your game plan going into it is we're going to go to PKs on this one and then anything can happen, you're at least like semi-okay at it.
I've never seen that, not even in middle school soccer. I've not seen at any level, at any stage in my life. We're going to do PKs. The first 3, we're going to get just stoned.
I think you're more likely to cycle through the entire roster twice and have everybody make them, including the goalies, than what we saw miss 3 at the
3 in a row. Like, they did not make. They got shut out in a PK.
Ronaldo, best player in the world, is what we went with.
We know, man. He doesn't know. What is it?
That's like saying like Michael Jordan's the best player in the world. Like, he's alive technically. Well, not technically. He's very much alive. So until he dies, he is the best player in the world.
It's like saying LeBron still is. No, it's like a pretty good comp.
Not exactly.
But LeBron isn't the best player in the world right now.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, it's like saying that right now. It's like someone saying like he's definitely the best.
It is
still.
like that. Only you're asking Plaxico Burress that question.
Stugotz here from my friends over at Simply Safe. Imagine a burglary at your home. If you're picturing a shady character sneaking about under the cloak of night, you may be surprised to learn that according to the FBI, most break-ins happen during broad daylight and spike during the summer months as more homes sit unattended and the days grow longer. That's why you need Simply Safe Home Security now. Simply Safe is the only security company I trust my own home and family's protection, offering me peace of mind whether I'm home or away. I have had Simply Safe in my home for many, many years now. I love the fact that I have such peace of mind when I am away because I have access to my entire house. With Fast Protect monitoring and Live Guard protection, Simply Safe agents can act within 5 seconds of receiving your alarm and can even see and speak to intruders to stop them in their tracks. Protect your home this summer with 20% off any new Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.